JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Tuesday, December 9, 9:16 a.m. Really quick rant here. Talk about the market. Some names I'm looking at go from there. S&P futures pretty much have been flat to mixed this morning. S&P is down about a tenth of a percent now. Nothing to be, nothing crazy yet, right? I mean, market was up 9 of 10 days heading into yesterday. And then even with yesterday's pull on the S&P, a lot of my watch list, like more than half my watch list was in the green. So we'll see how today plays out. The big catalyst this week is the Fed meeting tomorrow. And then, the market's pricing in like an 89% probability of a rate cut. You have to think they're going to cut rates. If they don't, the market's going to be, there's going to be lots of volatility, right? And then the big part of what's going to happen tomorrow is the tone of Fed Chair Powell's. It can be spun somewhat hawkish, kind of pull back expectations of cuts. Like, is there going to be a pause, right? That would be the concern. I don't know how the markets will react, but hopefully he can kind of alleviate concerns that they'll be extremely hawkish, and then markets maybe can resume their regularly scheduled ramp to all-time highs at the end of the year. If not, I mean, things are going to get interesting, and then the AI bubble and all that other conversation will start to get louder, right? So that's some of it. Yesterday, the markets with the weakness, yields were rising. So don't want to see that the 10-year continue to be over 4% and hopefully it starts to reverse course. I don't know if this market watch this morning. Mortgage rates are surging ahead of the Fed's expected rate cut. What gives? And this is what happened last September 2024 when when the Fed started cutting rates and all of a sudden yields start to go up. You would think, oh, they should go the other way. That would be my concern, right? That would be you're cutting rates and yields keep heading higher. Then you become this I don't know how to put it, this point of no return, right? Because then you start talking about the U.S. debt and all those other things that become issues as rates go up. So hopefully that's not the case. All right, that's quick on overall markets. Today, 679 is support. So if we break under 679, I'm not sure what kind of hedge positions. Normally I look at the Broadcoms, maybe some AMD or ASML, but SQQQ, they had that split, so maybe that would probably be my hedge. Broadcom reports earnings on Thursday, so the premium is kind of tough to play on a risk score basis to do at least put hedges. So 679, that's kind of, I wouldn't say the line in the sand, but that's probably where I'd be open to get some puts. 686 has been a tough nut to crack on the upside. So watching that today for possible resistance. All right, that's overall markets. Would love to see some chop here today. So another kind of quiet session, tight range. Yields maybe tick a little lower ahead of tomorrow. That'd be great. All right, so that's overall market. Just quick on individual names. And just footnote, small caps in the green yesterday. So good stuff there. Just yesterday was what I call kind of like a harvest day, right? So DEC, Duolingo continued to head to the upside. Actually, Duolingo wasn't an easy trade, right? Duolingo chopped around pretty much around the 200 handle in the morning in the red, and then boom, at like 11 o'clock from 200 all the way up to 207. Locked some more of my calls out for 200%, and then I just held the rest. Here it is at 206 here in the pre-market. I put 203 and change. That's kind of like the big, I wouldn't even call it resistance, but that was the level it came down post earnings. Seems like a key area. I think if it holds above that, I think it's headed into the 215, 220 handle. So, not sure if I'll add some more strikes, depending if I could find some decent risk rewards. I don't know, the 230s. But like this one, especially when it does have moves, the premiums, they become multi-baggers relatively quickly. So I'll continue to look for opportunities to play that one for upside. On the flip side, right, if the market has weakness, we break under 679 on the SPY, I'll probably look to take the rest of the last few off and then revisit. That's Duolingo. And then DEC, I don't know how many days in a row this is. I mean, it's 5 days in a row. If you take out that small red day it had last week, you're talking like 9-10 sessions in a row to the upside on DEC. The issue with DEC, the premiums haven't gone up as much as I would have liked to on the call side. And then these are like small moves, 1.5%, 2%. It's just going to take one downgrade or one little pull, and the premiums are going to get smoked. So I took some more of my calls off. They're finally gaining premium. Took some more off for a couple 100%, and I just held the last few of those 105s. I was looking to get some January strikes, but at some point there's going to be some pull. When that happens, I'll look to get those January strikes and then ride this. I was talking about it last week. I think there's going to be some of these names that have a 6 to 8 week window of bounces end of this year into next year, especially names that have been destroyed this year. So DEC is definitely one of those names. So I'll continue to look for opportunities on that one. That's Duolingo. Oh, and then Kodak, right? And Kodak just had it's having some volume here. Lots of shares here at 950. I was talking about yesterday. This is a name I've watched over the summer, and I haven't traded till last week. Interesting name, right? It's a nostalgic name. It's not one of those like gross AI stories. I want to have the chart here. Sorry about that, folks. Uh, okay, yeah. So I got those calls finally, and then the stock took off, right? So I was able to get those December strikes, locked them in for close to 100% to cover costs. And then yesterday, the plan was kind of like just to ride it maybe to $10 and close those out and be done with it. But then it held up, right? And it was 9:11 or so in the morning, and then just took off by the noon hour. And I'm like, this might continue to go. And then you have, the meme craze and everything that's going on there. I'm like, this is a name that maybe gets some Momo, right? So didn't want to be in a spot where I miss out on that move. And then, at the same time, I want to be able to lock those December strikes in. So use that move to lock some more of those December strikes out for close to 200%. And then I went and added some January strikes, kind of like I won't call it a hero zero trade. I hope they don't go to zero. The calls are up actually 60% now. But I think if it gets over $10, maybe it's off to the races. And it's a blue sky move where there's not enough, there's not shares up there. People don't have limits up in the $10-11 range because the stock hasn't traded up there. So it might be like, I wouldn't even say a hot knife through butter because there's no butter to cut through. So this might go 10, 11, 12, 13, call me crazy. Still 10% short interest. It's not the most sexy story, but it's a name that has, it's debt laden. So some of the reason it trades down here is the debt issue. They have going concern notice on their filings because there's possibility that if they weren't able to figure out this pension situation, the bankruptcy is a possibility. So they redid some of that last week. So I don't know if that removes a lot of the overhang, but I could see just getting some FOMO. So that was the thought there getting on the January strikes. If they're up at 100% today, if it starts to have continuation, I might look to lock some of those in and then just ride and hopefully get some FOMO. So that's Kodak. Reddit all the way up to 237 and change. It actually broke over Friday's highs before closing down 236.95. Just riding the last of those 260. So already locked in profits, riding freebies. The plan, at least over the last couple of weeks on Reddit, has been locking in strikes for profits and then getting the next week's calls for that eventual licensing agreement deal or whatever that's going to send it up 10-15%. So I'll continue to have that as kind of the playbook on Reddit. Other names, I keep looking at a line, right? And I tried a line 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, had those 152 calls. Those played out, and now it's up here 160. Another name beaten up this year. I think it's down 60 or so percent. Has an active stock buyback plan, and it's sitting here at 160. I don't know why I don't have the chart up here, but that could be a name I get some lottos on. I think that's it. Oracle reports after the close today. So that's to me that not tomorrow. Excuse me. To me, the Fed meeting is important tomorrow, but I think after the close with Oracle, they have those the RPOs, right? The remaining performance obligations, that huge buzzword that cropped up back in September when they reported their earnings, and people like, oh my gosh, half $500 billion. It certainly, I'm sure they're going to spin their earnings bullish and continue to, like they just had their analyst or investor day last month, but certainly something to watch. All right, that's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and